everybody who is not on the sort of extreme wing of the conspiratorial right, those are the ones who are wrecking the party by not accepting the extreme wing of the conspiratorial right that is constantly attacking inside the party. It's a wild supposition. Here's Alex Jones. This was, again, within the last 48 hours.
From what I've heard, Bondi's not bad. She's just lazy. Bongino's emotional and a big baby. Patel is compromised. And it's just so sad.
I mean, I just have to wonder, is that, who's dividing? Who's the big divider? Again, politics is a coalitional business, and people can vote for whomever they want. But the question now is not about voting. The question right now is about who gets to define the message and the future of the Republican Party. That's an ongoing battle all the time. That's an ongoing battle on the right. And if you don't call this stuff out, you end up with the right-wing version of AOC running your party. So yes, obviously, when it comes to the political party, when it comes to the Republican Party, when it comes to the conservative movement, some standards must be applied because the standards end somewhere. So the question is, which standard gets applied? How broad should that standard be? How much should certain people be respected who are trying to seize leadership of that standard and carry the banner forward? Anti-left is an electoral strategy. But we are not talking here about an electoral strategy. We are talking about who gets to lead the movement, how that should be dealt with, how bad ideas ought to be condemned. And if you're not willing to do that on your own side, then frankly, I don't have a lot of respect for you when you're attacking the other side for doing it.
What's at stake here is not Megyn Kelly's sort of pontifical authority as a sort of evaluator of who's anti-Semitic or not. It's really her stance as a kind of brave, independent journalist who follows the facts where they go and calls balls and strikes the way they are. And so when she rather candidly says, Candace is a young mom, I feel for her. One could say Merrick Garland is a nice grandfather and he's got some really cute grandkids. And why are you going after him? Joe Biden, this poor guy can barely sit up straight. He's got to be fed out of a spoon. Why are you criticizing him in public?
An angle that you can empathize with or an element to them that you can humanize. We're humans, of course.
Right. So either you want to be that kind of outspoken independent journalist, and I think that is her podcast brand.
Yeah.
So in a way, she's jeopardizing that brand herself. No one's doing it to her. She's doing it herself. It would be almost like if I were to say something like, I've got all this cinematic footage for my next film, but I'm not going to show it. And you'd be like, well, what kind of a filmmaker are you? If that's a topic you're covering, you actually have the goods and you're going to hold them back. Why?
To me, when it first started, I thought, look, Tucker is being a habitual iconoclast, but he's being an iconoclast in a juvenile way, right? I try to be an iconoclast, but I try to be an iconoclast with ideas, with facts, with history. And I'm like, this is a parody of what it means to be an iconoclast. In the same way that, say, Candace's, quote, investigations are a parody of, like, Columbo, right? She's conducting a, quote, personal investigation. She recruits her minions to be kind of delegated, deputized investigators. The whole thing has an element of sort of surreal comedy to black comedy, so to speak. I don't mean black in the racial sense, of course. With Tucker, I end up saying, look, I have to bow out of the attempt to psychologize this guy. I just don't know. What I do know, it's dividing MAGA. It's bad for Trump. Ultimately, it's playing into the hands of not only the radical jihadis abroad, but also the cultural left in this country. This is something that I think we in the mainstream of the conservative movement have to politely say, but firmly say no to.